Jaguars fans, welcome back. I am very excited about this matchup against the San Francisco 49ers in this Week 11 matchup. The 49ers are coming back to TIAA Bank Field. Last time they played at home, they ended up beating the Bills 9-6. That was an awesome game. I'm very excited to have them back home and hopefully continue that success we've had at home. We've played well against the Broncos. We played well against the Cardinals. We've played well against obviously we beat the Bills. We've played better at home. That's no secret. And outside of really the Cincinnati game, when we're on the road, we really don't have a lot of fight in us throughout the entire game. But at home, we've played better. I'm excited for it. The 49ers are trying to get back to 500. They're coming into this matchup 4-5. They are still in the thick of the NFC's playoff hunt. So the Jaguars can play a little bit of a spoiler early in the season in the playoff hunt. Week 11, there's still a lot of football left in the season with now the 17-game schedules. But still, the Jaguars have an awesome opportunity to hopefully put a little bad taste in the 49ers' mouth. Trevor Lawrence needs to have we're still awaiting that first good quality game from him. We have yet to see the 3 touchdown, 250 to 300-yard passing game. We just have not seen that. The closest we've gotten to it in all reality is the Houston game. You could maybe say the Cincinnati game, but still, he didn't have those multiple touchdowns, and he did not have the just prolific passing yards. We've yet to see that explosion of offense from Trevor. Now, this is a wide receiving core that has dropped. I've seen numbers like 15. I've seen numbers that are saying 18 is generous, and that they've probably dropped over 20. And through what we're 2-7, so 9 games, you're talking about about two drops a game, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. It's a horrible problem, and if I believe Trevor gets looked at better if these drops get fixed. I believe 6 drops against Indianapolis. In no way, shape, or form is that acceptable, and it plummets Trevor's completion percentage, and his completions in total, his yardage, everything just plummets when you have 6 drops in a game. James Robinson is still questionable for this game. If he was able to go for Indianapolis on a limited snap count, I'm hoping that he's able to go for it against the 49ers defense. They're allowing over 120 yards on the ground a game, and he is still averaging over 5 yards a touch. And I think that is a massive thing this Jaguars offense can use to exploit a 49ers defense that is just allowing the running game to be very prolific against opposing offenses. I really don't want to see Carlos Hyde. I'm so tired of hearing his name. And the fact that he got the start over James Robinson, he got the first touch as a running back in Indianapolis, just horribly grinds my gears. I hate that he toughed it out for the team and then he still didn't get the first touch. Yes, he did get the touchdown. He did get the majority of the snaps, but I still hate that he did not get that start. Oh, my God. Jamal Agnew. I hate talking about this wide receiver core. It pains me. I don't like talking about it. They're just a bunch of bums that can't catch the ball right now. Jamal Agnew needs to get more touches out of the backfield, though. We're starting to see that more and more often. It kind of started with Cordero Patterson. Obviously, Agnew and Visca, they're not that same kind of player. That Deebo Samuel, Cordero Patterson, they aren't. But that's that elite speed. You talk about 4.4 speed, and then even a 4. If you're running a 4.51, I still very much consider you elite in the National Football League. There's a select few players that can run 4.4. I think 4.50, you're pulling away from a lot of people. So you definitely have to get him more involved, whether it's screens, whether it's sweeps, whether it's just direct handoff out of the backfield. Jamal Agnew absolutely needs to be more involved in this game plan. Dan Arnold remains to be the highest receiving threat this Jaguars offense has. He's been the safety valve and the best addition this Jaguars team made, I would say, the entire season, even going outside of obviously draft picks. Trevor's obviously the best addition, but Dan Arnold, you talk about getting someone off your team in C.J. Henderson that was going to just end up taking money on the salary cap, and you turned it into a positive. You moved up from the 5th round to the 3rd round, and also got Dan Arnold for C.J. Henderson, who has done nothing. Yes, he was a waste of a pick. The pick's been made. Time to move on. And actually, I'm very happy with the performance Dan Arnold has had. Hopefully, he can find some good success. Obviously, the 49ers do have one of the best linebackers in the league, Fred Warner. I'm hoping that he can have some success against in the intermediate passing game in the center of the field. I really do think he has an opportunity for it. Now, Jawan Taylor. This is going to be a massive matchup for him. Obviously, Cam Robinson is more than likely going to be seeing some of Nick Bosa, but obviously, if I am the 49ers, I'm putting Nick Bosa opposite of Jawan Taylor almost the entire game. Jawan Taylor is obviously the lesser of two tackles. He's a false start machine. How many times is he going to jump? I feel like every time I try to watch the offensive line on a snap, you could call Jawan Taylor on a false start. It's horrible. The rest of the league knows. I've seen countless TikToks on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Every social media is well aware of the fact that Jawan Taylor has this weird thing where he is just magically perfect every single time on the snap count. I don't believe that he is. I don't think he is. I just think referees they could call him every time, but it would get to the point where it would bog the game down. So, oh God, Jawan Taylor, Nick Bosa, that's going to be a nightmare. I'm not looking forward to watching that one. I think Jawan Taylor is going to have a handful with Nick Bosa, but outside of that, they really do not have a whole lot of pass rush. Obviously, DeForest Buckner is with Indianapolis now, and it's kind of just how the Jaguars have it. It's a lot of dudes that have like 1 to 2 sacks, 1 to 2 to 3 sacks on the year, and they don't have that standalone elite pass rusher. They have Bosa, we have Allen, and that's really, when you talk about opposing teams knowing your pass rush, that's what it is. Bosa and company, Josh Allen and company. So this offensive line has been playing decently well. Ben Barch has been playing well. Linder designated to return, so hopefully we'll get Shatley out of there, get Linder back in. Norwell and Robinson, they're consistent. So I'm gonna jump over to the defense now. Josh Allen is going to have one heck of a test against Trent Williams. It's going to be the same thing. If they do decide to put him up against the right tackle, he'll have an easier day. And this is the Trent Williams that I was pounding the table on, that the Jaguars needed to sign, because he was, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, free agent on the market. You talk about Justin Simmons, Trent Williams, all of those people that were prior to the franchise tags being doled out. Trent Williams was number one on my list. I wanted Trent Williams. And so this is going to be a massive test for Josh Allen to see if he can actually continue that success he's been having throughout this little stretch since the bye week. He kind of had a good game against the Dolphins, went into the bye week, and Seattle was a wash. I want to get that game out of my head. And then the rest, so after that, they've played very well. Or he has played very well, I will say. This whole defense has played well. My goodness, what is going on? Joe Cullen, good job. You've got Taven Watch, 3 weeks in a row. Can we get 3 weeks in a row of Taven Watch? I want to come on here and make Taven Watch an actual thing that is a staple of these reviews and the previews. I want Taven Watch to be the thing people look forward to. Taven Bryan, keep going. Joe Cullen, you got the Bobby Boucher. Slap him on the butt and just send him at whatever poor guard is on his opposite of him. He's going to get bull rushed, and he's going to get bull rushed, and he's going to get bull rushed. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I hope you like your guard getting pushed into you, because that's exactly what Taven Bryan does. He doesn't do anything else. But hey, if you need a guard to be pushed into a quarterback, call Taven Bryan. So, can this front seven contain Elijah Mitchell? He's not a bad back. He's a quality back. I believe he has over 500 yards. He's very serviceable for the 49ers. And they're a very heavy running back by committee. They don't wow you with the running game. Deebo Samuel is very involved in the running game. And then Elijah Mitchell is a very good running back out of the backfield. So Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to try to lean on this running game pretty heavily, with Shaq Griffin and then Tyson Campbell pretty much covering up Ayuk and Deebo. So I can imagine that Elijah Mitchell is probably going to get anywhere from 17 to 18 touches, somewhere in there, with Deebo probably getting 5 to 6, with the success that he had against the Rams last week and absolutely demolishing what many would say is one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Now, speaking of Deebo, this team cannot let Deebo into open space. I've talked about Tyson Campbell several times, where he is incredibly good whenever he is on top of the offender, excuse me. Whenever he is on top of the offensive player, he makes incredible plays. He is a good tackler. He can keep things in front of him. We just need the rest of the defensive front seven, and honestly the corners even too, to not allow him into open space. He's incredible in the open space. He's incredibly quick. He's what Jaguars fans want Laviska Shenault to be. He kind of has that. If you could combine Jamal Agnew's and Laviska Shenault and then make that better, that is what Deebo Samuel is, and they need to limit the open space that he gets, because if he gets behind them, he's gone. If he gets a lot of space, he's gone. You have to keep Deebo Samuel close to you, or he is going to make you pay. Kittle, he's coming back from an injury. He's going to be able to do some damage against a front seven that hasn't done, that Mike Gesicki tore apart. Obviously, that was before the defense started playing lights out. But still, you talk about Mike Gesicki as a B player in the tight end room in all National Football League. George Kittle is what you talk about best tight ends in the league. Kelsey, Waller, Kittle. Those are the quick three you can rattle off, and everyone agrees with you. Now, if they can't contain him, it's going to be a bad day. If they can't contain Deebo, it's going to be a bad day. If one of these players pops off, it's going to be a bad day. The Jaguars are finally starting to have some success with turnovers. I'm very excited about that. They were wreaking havoc on Carson Wentz. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the ball a whole lot. I believe they did have the one interception, though. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo, hopefully they can get a couple turnovers off of him. I believe the 49ers have not won a game this year whenever Jimmy Garoppolo has actually had a turnover. So if they can get one turnover, the statistics and the logistics, not the logistics, I'm forgetting the word, but bright things are ahead if the Jaguars get a turnover off of Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Matthew Wright, he needs to make his kicks, or he might as well go back to being whatever the heck he was before the Jaguars called him. When we were still having faith in Josh Lambo. He was, what do I have him at? 5 of 9 unofficially in the past 2 weeks. He missed 3 from 42 at the exact same spot against Buffalo. He missed an extra point. He missed a field goal in Indianapolis. He is just not good. I'm beating the dead horse. I talk about it twice a week. I talk about it whenever I do a week review, and I talk about it when I do a game preview. Matthew Wright is not a good kicker. I don't like him. He can get into my good graces if he starts kicking well again, but right now I want to blast him into the sun because I think he's a bum. I'm not saying I could do any better, but I'm also not getting paid. I'm not getting paid that money. So, score prediction off the top of the head here. I'm actually going to start doing these, not the preview of the. I'm not going to have my score preview in my notes anymore. I'm going to go off the top of the head. I had 21-20 Jaguars last week against the Colts. I think the 49ers are equally as good team. They have a quality offensive line. They obviously their running game is different. Let's go. I'm going to have the Jaguars winning it again. Obviously, I'm the blind hopeful fan. Let's do 23-20 Jaguars. No, I'm going to go 13-10 Jaguars. I don't think this Jaguars offense is good enough to score 23 points. Yeah, 13-10 Jaguars. Low-scoring game. The Jaguars defense plays well again, and the Jaguars offense is mundane and boring again. And so I think the Jaguars offense is going to be saved once again by the Jaguars defense, 13-10. Jaguars move on to 3-7. Whoop whoop. We have now tripled our wins from last year, and we are on to the Falcons, which I will be at that game. So hey, if you're at TIAA Bank Field, you see me, hey, holler at me. I'd love to get you on a vlog. And with that being said, 13-10, Jaguars win it. Hopefully, stay safe and go Jaguars.
Come back.